Yo, U.S. District Judge James Boasberg must believe that he's the one political advocate who can get away with trying to smite President Trump. I'm not saying that he goes after anyone who tries to impeach him or hit him with criminal charges, but statistics have proven that those who come in between Trump making America great again have paid dearly for these attempts. On Wednesday, Judge Boasberg threatened to fine the Trump administration in criminal contempt of court for defying a court order to return Venezuelan migrants who had been sent to a Salvadorian prison after he had ordered that they not be deported. Yo, does Trumpito have the authority to continue to deport illegal aliens despite the court order? Well, ancient alien theorists say yes. Yo, my name is Marcus Russell. This is the Marcus Russell Show. Yo, this has been like a month-long showdown between the Trump administration and the judicial branch. Um, it has raised many questions about how much power these judges really have. Like, so can a judge tell the president what to do? Because all this time I've been thinking that I could never run the country, but I could have just I could have just went to law school and then worked for the government for 10 years, and then I could have either had a governor appoint me as a judge, or I could have been elected as a judge, and my city's voters could have made me a judge. Then you don't even have to be in my court or be in my district. I could just command the president to do whatever I say. Yo, I promise I don't even really understand politics sometimes. Yo, make sure you tap that like and subscribe button. Let's get right to the video.
Tonight, with immigration arrests like these playing out across the country, a federal judge now says the Trump administration is crossing a line with its mass deportations. After those controversial removal flights to El Salvador last month, Judge James Boasberg slamming the government for failing to comply with his court order to temporarily halt the planes, writing probable cause exists to find the government in criminal contempt.
The idea that one branch of government would ignore the orders of another is something we haven't seen in our nation's history.
The judge writing the Constitution does not tolerate willful disobedience of judicial orders, adding that disobedience would make a solemn mockery of the Constitution itself. The White House says it will appeal. A separate legal case involves one of those deportees, Abrego Garcia, the man the Justice Department initially acknowledged was mistakenly sent to El Salvador. The Supreme Court ruled the Trump administration should facilitate Abrego Garcia's return to the U.S. But today, after days of requests, the administration released a document from 2019 stating how an informant allegedly identified Abrego Garcia as a member of the violent gang MS-13, even giving his rank and nickname.
When Abrego Garcia was originally arrested, he was wearing a sweatshirt with rolls of money covering the ears, mouth, and eyes of presidents on various currency denominations. This is a known MS-13 gang symbol.
Abrego Garcia's family denies he's a gang member, and he's never been criminally convicted. Democratic Senator Chris Van Hollen of Maryland went to El Salvador today to push for Abrego Garcia's release, but was denied a meeting with him.
This is about due process. This is about not letting people be just whisked off the street, which the Trump administration admits was done in error.
Late today, the White House highlighting the story of Patty Warren, whose daughter Rachel was killed by an undocumented immigrant.
These are the kind of criminals President Trump wants to remove from our country.
The Trump administration is promising deportations will ramp up. Outside Boston, the woman inside this car says ICE officers used a hammer to break a window in order to drag out her husband, an undocumented immigrant who has no criminal record.
That door.
This surveillance video shows plainclothes officers tackling a Venezuelan man as he arrives in a New Hampshire courthouse, knocking over another man in the process.
Hey, excuse me.
Outrage over immigration now spilling into contentious town halls, including one held by Chuck Grassley, the most powerful senator on the Judiciary Committee.
Are you going to bring that guy back from El Salvador? Yeah. Why not?
Well, because that's not a power of Congress.
Supreme Court said to bring him back.
While in Georgia, police tasered two protesters at an event held by Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Bye.
Bye.
Just like that illegal alien. Bye.
Oh! Now live. Gabe, let's go back to that man deported to El Salvador. I know you have new reporting tonight on his past.
Yes, Tom. In 2021, a protection order was issued against him in a domestic violence case. The case was closed when his wife did not show up for court. As for the gang allegations, his attorneys have repeatedly questioned the credibility of that confidential informant. Tom.
All right, Gabe, we thank you for that. We want to stay on this
Now they
breaking news
question
and all
it.
the legal developments. So how would a judge put the Trump administration in contempt of court? Laura Jarrett joins us now. So, Laura, what are the realistic scenarios?
This is an inflection point, Tom. The judge today essentially saying he is giving the Justice Department one last chance to comply with his original order. Find those people he says were wrongly put on planes last month. But if the administration does not comply, then the judge plans to escalate this further and figure out who's to blame. The final step here would be referring this matter for criminal prosecution by the DOJ. But what if DOJ won't prosecute? Well, the judge could appoint an outsider, but that person still answers to the Justice Department, all illustrating just how quickly this could potentially turn into a remarkable confrontation.
Yo, so Boasberg, bald-headed bureaucratic ass said he planned on holding hearings and then recommending criminal charges and then hiring a private attorney to prosecute the case if Pam Bondi and the DOJ refuses. But look, Boasberg, you think Trumpito's scared of criminal charges? He's been on trial facing different charges for the last 4 years. For real, straight up. He reminds me of me like in the 90s, except for I was scared shitless every single time. Yo, they keep citing that the Alien Enemies Act of 1798 is a centuries old piece of legislation, but so is the freedom of speech. For real, and the right to bear arms. That's old. Matter of fact, the tariff status quo was signed into Congress by George Washington in 1789, and then it went up to 10% in 1949, and it had never changed until recently, until when Trumpito changed it. So, like, citing that these legislations are old, all we use is old legislations for real. But look, what is so different that now that Trump wants to do it? What's the problem now? They also keep on like posting statistics like only 22% of the deported immigrants have criminal records, with the majority of the criminal records being stuff like nonviolent stuff like shoplifting, theft, and trespassing. And then the other 77% they say have not committed any crime, somehow forgetting the fact that entering America illegally is in fact a crime itself. But yo, I guess Boasberg wants the Trump administration to go back and get the people that was deported. But something tells me that that's probably not going to happen. I don't think Trumpito's going back to get anybody, Boasberg. Give it up. Catch him in trial. He's definitely not afraid to go to trial. He's been to trial a lot. He beats a lot of cases. I'm calling him Teflon Don Trumpito right now. You know what I'm saying? No blackjack, no no blackjack, no nickel bags, no nothing. Yo, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Tell me what you think in the comments. Until next time.